What is going on, guys? We're back with a more baby video because I know that you guys love the baby videos. All of them have different genetics for the most part, so we're going to be highlighting those genetics. You can see a bunch of babies in here that we're going to be going through, some albino, Tremper, Mandarin stuff. I'm sure we got some snow stuff in here. We got some Afghanicus Super Snows down here. Ooh, TBS, our thick bold stripe project, aka Drippy bold stripe project. You can see how the pattern drips there, and these are just babies. Once they age, they're going to be so drippy, so nice. Afghanicus bold, always a fan favorite of Afghanicus bold, so we'll take you through it. Alright, this is my favorite thing to use for baby humid hides. They're just these 8-ounce deli cups that you could buy from websurroundstore.com. Some reptile vendors and websites like Redline Shipping will sell them as well, but they'll have holes in them. These are perfect for babies up until about 3 months of age, and then you can move them to a bigger tub and a bigger humid hide. But as you can see, they cut pretty easily and they work perfect. We will put a lid on to these, so we'll fill this with, you could use Eco Earth, or we use a peat moss vermiculite combo, like we have our peat moss vermiculite video, which I'll leave a link to. Put that in there, get it nice and wet, and good to go. So after many different testings, this is my favorite way to set up babies. They're going to have a shallow 0.5 ounce water dish. They will have a 1.5 ounce water dish that will last them a little bit longer. This one is hot glued to the bottom of the plastic tub so it won't move, and older geckos won't flip it. They'll have a humid hide with Eco Earth or our mixture, which is peat moss and vermiculite. And for two, I'll set them up in pairs of 2, maybe sometimes 3, but I try not to push anything more than that because they can get a bit nippy to each other. These are medium mealworms, and as you can see, I'll put, for 2 of them, I'll put 20 to 25 in there, and this will last them their first 10 to 12 days easily. And most of the time they will eat most of these or all of these. I'd rather have more than less. There is a concern about, you know, the worms crawling under the hides and under everything, but they usually come back out, and that's when the geckos get them. This is the Vionate osteoform mixture, so that's the 3-to-1 ratio, and I do sprinkle some on the ground here, and I make sure some worms are on the ground because it makes it easier for the babies sometimes that don't want to crawl into the bowl to get their food. It makes it easier for them to get it. So this is the #1 way that I like to set it up right now, after experimenting with dozens of ways of doing it. So these ones are Mandarin Inferno Tremper albinos. You can see some of them are kind of the jungle pattern right there. That's really good. When they have that thick, bold white patterning, that means that they're going to have a lot of white patterning as they grow up. This one's going into shed, so really looking forward to how these age out. So this is a really exciting group. This is our Mandarin boy bred to our Spectre project. Our Spectre project is a really interesting project that popped out of the lemon frost stuff and the Turkmenicus gene. It has absolutely nothing to do with lemon frost, but it did seem to appear to come from that project, in the sense that one of the original Turkmenicus lemon frost that we acquired was extremely lime in coloration, and pale, almost ghost-like. That's why we called him, or nicknamed him, Spectre. And I wanted to see if that gene particularly would be passed downable. So again, if anybody tells you that that's related to lemon frost, or it has a chance to be lemon frost, then they're just lying to you, or they don't understand how lemon frost works. Lemon frost is a dominant gene, and so you would absolutely see babies that were lemon frost if it was linked to the gene. And so last year we bred a bunch of our Turkmenicus lemon frost to bolds, and the ones that did not pop out lemon frost, those were the ones that we bred as held back and then bred as Spectres. And the Spectre line did appear to be lighter and brighter in a way than non-Spectres, and so that's what we're testing for right now, to see if there's any difference in the offspring. And time will tell. I mean, when babies are born like this, it's really hard to tell, but I'm really hopeful. And you can see Turkmenicus brings a lot of size into these animals. These are big, healthy babies, like much bigger than the Mandarin Infernos that we just saw a second ago. And so I'm really hopeful for the Spectre project. I'll have to do a whole video on what the Spectres look like. Again, they are not Lemon Frost. They are the ones that did not inherit the Lemon Frost gene from that project a couple years ago, over a year ago, maybe over a year and a half ago or so. They're just really unique looking animals. So hold me to my word. I'm going to do a whole video on the Spectre gene, if you want to call it that way, or line. It's a unique line from one animal that I think is going to produce unique animals. So these are a few Spectres here. You could just see that they're really light in coloration for just a traditional Fasciolatus Turkmenicus. They come from lineage of the lighter ghost-like Spectre gene, but obviously there's no proof that this is an actual like separate genetic. It could be polygenetic, meaning that the animal these guys came from is just way lighter and sort of more lime-like in color than a typical leopard gecko. But we're gonna breed a bunch of these. I think we have, I don't know, we might have like 9 or 12 of these or something that we can breed and test out and see if anything really cool or interesting pops out of them. Again, these are not Lemon Frost. Lemon Frost is a dominant gene, meaning that it's very visually clear when you have a Lemon Frost, but these were the non-visuals that came from that Spectre project from a few years ago, when we did have that one Spectre male that was different than the others. So really cool. We'll see what happens with this. Okay guys, as you saw from my last video, the Fasciolatus Snows that we're hatching in our project this year is definitely one of my favorites. This one has a little bit of vermiculite stuck on it. If that happens, you can just rinse them off with a little sprayer or a little bit of water in the sink. But look how reduced the pattern is, even on the head and everything like that, on the sides of the body. This one is most likely an eclipse. Oh my gosh, it's just so pink and so reduced in color, like pattern and everything. Look at that. That is amazing. Let me rinse this one off real quick and we'll take a closer look. All right, so here we go. You can see it's almost fractured like a pied Super Snow Eclipse. And even on the tail, you can see the pattern is only on the top. It's not even on the sides. That is so crazy, guys. This is definitely the most reduced pattern one that I've seen as a baby so far. Really excited to see how this one continues on. And real quick, we'll just show off some. So this one's obviously not a snow. These two are, but you can see this one has more spotting already and is angry. And this one is gonna be most likely a very lavender and white animal into adulthood. And this one might be a little bit less lavender and less white based on the way that it's looking. But the Fasciolatus Snow project as a whole creates some very lavender and white pale geckos even into adulthood. Amazing. Look, there's a shot of that tail right there. That is definitely the highest I've ever seen. That's crazy. Super cool. Super cool. All right, guys, this is another really interesting project. These two kind of hatched with slightly bloated bellies and a little bit runty, but they'll probably age out fine. You can see the eggs look perfect. Nice hard shell, crispy just like it should be. Sometimes babies just hatch out kind of goofy. Little bit of gold dusting here. This does look like a Super Snow Afghanicus. You can see the Super Snow Afghanicus compared to the Super Snow Fasciolatus is much darker. We also noticed that there's blizzard in our Super Snow Afghanicus project. So this one might be a blizzard here. And it might obviously have some snow or Super Snow genetics in it. But this one definitely looks Super Snow because the stripe down the back. The white feet are typically indicative of Het Eclipse. Man, I'm excited. I have to do an adult video, a juvenile to subadult video of these guys, because I have some that hatched out and they're pretty crazy, amazing, pretty cool. So that video should be coming soon. But yeah, look at this guy, this Super Snow Afghanicus compared to the Fasciolatus, just much darker. So what I'm expecting from the Afghanicus Super Snow compared to the Fasciolatus Super Snow is the opposite. More spotting, darker, richer, heavily patterned animals. So this was dragging his little belly on the ground. Hey, buddy. Yeah, sometimes they're just bloated with that egg yolk and they'll be fine. Okay, now these actually come from really high quality genetics. These are Mandarin Clown crosses. You could just see really interesting, nice, wonky jungle pattern there, but not very orange, right? That happens with clowns sometimes. They grow into their color, but this is just a great example of how you could take two prime, really good looking parents and not pop out some really good looking babies. Like, that can happen. Now, genetics sometimes take a little time to come out, so these guys might take a little time. They're kind of like the ugly duckling. What's that story? The swan, the black swan that becomes like the most beautiful one. That could be these guys. It really could be. So time will tell. This one's in shed, but just wanted to show these guys to you and kind of talk about that genetic variance point and how it's really hard to judge what an animal is going to age like as a hatchling. But we could definitely see some really nice patterning here. That yellow is traditionally going to turn orange and maybe burnt orange for the clown and tangerine genetics, and then the black is going to turn purple, and then the purple is going to turn green, and this should be a pretty nice looking animal growing up, whether it's middle quality or high quality. Kind of like a lava lamp pattern there. Do you see any faces or shapes or anything familiar in here? Let me know. Alright, these are the last babies I'm going to show for the night, and some of my favorites. These come from our Drippy Bold Stripe project, aka our thick Bold Stripe project. It really takes a month or so for these guys' drippy pattern to really creep in, but you can see that it's like zigzag and how thick it is. That's going to continue to drip into the body lower and lower, and it's going to continue to get more and more like spread out and diverse of a pattern. It's going to be truly amazing. If you've seen any of our YouTube or Instagram shorts on our Drippy Bold Stripe project, look how thick the patterning is in the tail and all that kind of stuff. But if you've seen our prior videos, you would definitely see how these guys age out amazing. So definitely another fan favorite project of mine around here, and we'll have to see what more hatches in the next week or so. So thank you guys very much for watching this video. Do you like these baby hatchling like unboxing type taken out of the incubator videos? Let me know in a comment below. I could keep doing this. We get lots of babies. We should be getting Black Knight babies soon, so that'll be really cool. What else are we getting? I think I've shown off the main project, so now it's just about quality, right? When I hatch really good quality tangerines and stuff like that, I can definitely show those. But the Fasciolatus Snows, Afghanicus Snows, Mandarin Bolds, Mandarin Clowns, Pure Clowns, Infernal Clowns, all of that stuff is some of our top end projects. Drippy Bold Stripe, and then of course the Black Knight. We have Black Knight pure. No, we're not doing any pures this season. We're doing Black Knight crosses, like second generation crosses, which are just as dark as the pures, but they're more outcrossed and more diverse genetics. Then we have first generation crosses that are crossed with another dark line that popped out in our collection that we crossed into Black Knight, so that's really exciting. And then this year I'm going to start breeding our very first Afghanicus Black Knight Generation 1s that are now adults. We're going to breed that back to Black Knight and get Generation 2s. And I finally hatched some males. I grew them up. We got like 4 or 5 Black Knight males finally that are going to be able to be put into the breeding rotation. So thank you guys so much for following along. I'll see you in the next video. And until then, have a geeky gecko great day. Peace.